I think in Syria you see a consequence of this paralysis in Washington and this real fear of doing anything wrong. And we're haunted by Iraq. I think the Obama White House correctly does not want to embroil the U.S. in another war in the Middle East. But we have more options. You know, it's not simply do we invade with 100,000 troops and do we do nothing. We were supposed to be providing initially some aid to the civilian elements in the Syrian opposition. And the Syrian opposition now controls 7 provinces in the north. There were proposals to give them ambulances, generators, search and rescue equipment for when these Scud missiles fall. But whenever we give any kind of aid or training to a Syrian, that individual, we need their name, their father's name, their Syrian ID number. We ask them 11 different questions, and then their name is run through a terrorism database that the U.S. government has. All because we are so fearful of potentially giving aid or weapons to the wrong person. This incredibly slow, cumbersome effort where we can't, exert our soft power, if you will, has really hurt us in Syria. Now there's sort of no good options left, but our performance, over the last 2 years has been terrible.
I've come here to Cairo to seek a new beginning.
There was this sort of epic moment in June 2009. Obama gave this address in Cairo where he said he was looking for a new beginning between the U.S. and the Islamic world. But there's a sense in these countries that, Obama didn't deliver on the Cairo speech and that there was an opening with the Arab Spring, but he hasn't sort of delivered on those promises either.
The people of the world can live together in peace. Now that must be our work here on earth.
My concern is that Washington is broken. We know this from domestic legislation, foreign legislation. Part of it is that our State Department, the most common adjective I hear about our State Department is that it is risk averse. I wrote this book because I was surprised when I was covering Afghanistan at the anemic state of our civilian agencies in the government, primarily the State Department and the U.S. Agency for International Development, and also, the U.S. Department of Agriculture and the Department of Commerce were all sending experts into Afghanistan to help with the non-military effort. And, it was essentially totally understaffed, and all of these agencies had to hire contractors to do everything. And the problem with all this is that the result on the ground, it's not better service, it's not quality training, it's this rush to spend money, to check boxes, and sort of tell, the public and members of Congress that we've made this great effort in these countries. And in fact, it was really a slapdash American civilian effort.
American and coalition forces are in the early stages of military operations to disarm Iraq, to free its people, and to defend the world from grave danger.
If there's a lesson from Iraq and Afghanistan, it's almost no matter how much we spend, 100,000 troops are not going to stabilize these countries. And I think the key here, and people question this basic premise, I'm convinced there are moderates in the region, and we could do a better job of supporting them, and actually working through moderates and local allies is going to be more successful at stabilizing these countries and also cheaper than these massive invasions. We've abandoned the field across the Middle East and allowed kind of hardline Islamists to move into this vacuum that exists.